We now welcome UFC light heavyweight Yeon Cutelaba. Yeon, thank you for the time, sir.
Yep.
We will take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Press.
Hello, John. First off, we know that you had tested positive for COVID recently. Obviously, you're cleared to fight, but just want to know, how are you feeling after everything, and I guess just how the experience went for you?
Salutare, Ion. Noi știm cu toții că tu ai fost testat pozitiv la momentul dat și vrem să știm cum tu te simți după ce ai fost în carantină.
Salut, băieți! În primul rând, nu vă faceți griji că 10 zile de carantină m-am pregătit de 2 ori pe zi, am avut 2 antrenamente și am impresia că virusul a murit a 2 zi. Nu a putut suporta așa mare antrenamente.
Hello, everyone. Hey guys, that was not a big problem. So the virus, after 2 days has gone from my body. I was training hard, preparing with hard intensity. So don't worry, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to fight.
The obvious question, after all of the rescheduling that has happened for this fight, how do you feel finally to be here at Fight Week and you're about to finally get the business settled?
Da, cum te simți în această săptămână de luptă după carantină? Adică cum te simți tu?
General, hai să spunem așa, dacă spunem o notă dintre 1 și 10, mă sunt pe nota 11. Mă sunt bine, sâmbătă să arăt pentru ceea ce am muncit, pentru ceea ce merit de arătat cine sunt eu.
Yeah, I just want one thing, guys, to let you know that if to take from 1 to 10, so from one number to 10, so it's 11. Like, I'm feeling better than I can feel, So you're gonna see, Saturday night how I'm feeling after this quarantine and after everything.
At any point, did you ever think about, just let me fight somebody else now after all the rescheduling and everything? I know you do want to settle business after the first fight, but did you ever think, let me just fight someone else? We just can't seem to get it done.
Excuse me, one more time, please.
Sure. Was there ever any talk of just moving on to somebody else? He wants the rematch, but with all the rescheduling, did they ever just think, give me another fighter just so I can keep fighting?
Oh, if you one was asking to fight with somebody?
Was he always focused to fight the rematch, or did he ever think fight someone else?
All right. Okay. În afară, adică după și s-a cancelat lupta, te-ai gândit să iei o altă luptă în afară de asta sau tot ai rămas focusat anume la lupta, la revanșă care trebuie să fie?
Dacă sincer, eu am știut foarte mult că nu putem încheia lupta așa și eu am știut că UFC să fie interesat să luptăm mai departe. Dar o lume întreagă a văzut că trebuie lupta repetată.
No, guys. From the beginning, after this fight, the first time I was fighting, everybody saw the fight, so it not was the right result. So it was my, I wanted this fight to finish, to end this fight, not because that was the right stoppage. So I want everybody and all around the world to see the right, the right fight, So I wanted this fight with all my heart, to fight and to show everyone who is the best.
Thank you.
And we will take our next questions from Ezekiel Berganzi with Super Luchas.
Hey, hello, Ian. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you. Very good.
My first question is, How much are you expecting this fight?
Întrebarea lui este cât de mult ai așteptat lupta asta?
Păi am așteptat-o exact după ce s-a terminat prima luptă a noastră. De atunci o aștept. Chiar din secunda când referile au oprit lupta. De atunci o aștept a doua.
Yes. So I was waiting for this fight from the beginning, from the like from the decision, you know, they did. So I was waiting and I was preparing since day one until now, and I have only thing in my mind just this fight.
And your strategy will be the same that you had on the first fight, or did you change something in your fight game to this Saturday?
Strategia ta pentru această luptă va fi exact ca lupta precedentă sau ai ceva schimbări, adică altă strategie de luptă?
Schimbări, doar schimbări. Asta ne face cel mai bun.
Yes, guys. Of course, changes makes a difference, you know, and makes us better than yesterday. So, of course, I have changes, and you are gonna see my changes on Saturday night.
And my final question: what do you think about your division now that Sean Jones have moved on?
Ce crezi tu despre divizia ta, văzând că John Jones acum și-a schimbat categoria? Cum crezi, ce se întâmplă în divizia ta în momentul dat?
Nu văd mari schimbări, că a fost John Jones sau noi. Eu știu cu încetul centura să fie a mea, dar știu una, că centura va merge de mână-mână acum.
Yes, guys. I cannot see big changes right now. That John Jones moved up in his weight class, but only thing I know, step by step, I'll take that belt. And about the belt, right now it's gonna play. You know, nobody knows who is gonna be the real champion. So the real champion is coming.
Thank you, and
Pe umărul ăsta să fie centura.
Yeah, on my shoulder it's coming.
thank you, and good luck on Saturday.
Mulțumim și succes pentru sâmbătă.
Thank you very much.
And we will take the next question from Anton with UFC.com.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeon, привет. I will ask him on Russian, sorry. Ты можешь рассказать немножко, может быть, ты уже говорил, да, на английском языке, но попрошу тебя на русском продублировать. Как вообще вся эта ситуация сказалась, да, потому что ты давно хотел на этот реванш, давно настраивался, заранее поехал, соответственно, готовился, и сильно ли это именно в психологическом плане тебя как-то, ну, напрягло, подкосило, или, в принципе, ты уже настолько долго ждал этого боя, что 2 недели они, в принципе, никак не сказались?
Да нет, конечно, мне сказали. Привет, в первую очередь. Я, конечно, буду разговаривать и на русском, я знаю. Самая большая проблема была, что я боялся, чтобы не было позитивной, ну, ковид, чтобы не было еще результат позитивный, да. Все все такое, 10 дней карантина, это просто я готовился 2 дня в день. У меня была очень хорошая подготовка, и я готов, и я очень рад, что я сегодня здесь, и что наконец-то у нас будет долгожданный матч, долгожданный бой.
Мгм. Расскажи, ты считаешь, что этот бой, он на данный момент в карьере для тебя самый важный? Потому что, несмотря на то, что предыдущий он завершился очень быстро, этот бой, он, ну, наверное, наделал шума больше, чем все твои предыдущие выступления. Ты вообще это как-то почувствовал? И насколько для тебя важно именно вот закрыть этот вопрос с Анкалаевым, доказать всем, что вот это поражение, оно было, ну, скорее, не поражением, да, а судейской ошибкой какой-то.
В первую очередь, у меня каждый бой, вот у меня завтра бой, это для меня самый главный бой. И в эту субботу очень серьезный бой, очень главный для меня, это будет с Анкалаевым. И во вторую очередь, я буду доказывать самому себя, что я лучше. Э, Потому что я знаю, что я умею, я знаю, как я готовился. И я знаю, что я умею реально. Ребята, я вам говорю, у Анкалаева нету шансов. Нету шансов. Я не знаю, как у вас там свое мнение, но мне волнует только мое мнение. Меня волнует только мнение людей, которые верят в меня и когда были рядом всегда.
Скажи, есть какая-то подоплека именно такая психологическая, да, потому что, ну, вы и на взвешивании немножко потолкались, да, я знаю, что это твоя фишка фирменная, да, но и получается в октагоне тоже у вас такая перепалка была какая-то словесная. Есть ли такое, что этот бой для тебя, он более личный, чем другие? Или это все равно больше вот именно для публики, да, больше такое шоу? Или все-таки, ну, есть какое-то чувство такое злости, неприязни, может быть, спортивной в хорошем плане?
Вы же знаете, я позитивный парень, но когда я выхожу в клетку, я зверь, я делаю свою работу, и кто меня спрашивает, и много меня спрашивает, это неуважение к спортсмену, это неуважение к, ну, все ошибаются, никто не знает, что это уважение. Я уважаю моих соперников, ну, в одной причине, потому что и они напоминают меня. Только я знаю, сколько жертв мы вложим в этих подготовках, и это самое главное. Так что психологически, вы же знаете, я всегда готов. Не волнуйтесь, у меня нету злости. Наоборот, я в этот раз довольна и больше чувствую себя под контролем.
Мгм. Ну и, может быть, под конец, я тогда, чтобы не задерживать, тоже попрошу тебя передать привет всем, кто будет болеть за тебя в России, потому что, ну, я знаю, что тебе, наверное, пишут какие-то гневные комментарии, да, потому что, ну, из-за твоего поведения, но это на самом деле
Если
наоборот.
честно, конечно, да, ребятам, я знаю, что я знаю, я уверен, что их очень много в России, потому что я принимаю не только негативные. Негативные получаю только очень малые сообщения. Э, Но могу сказать, что даже из Дагестана меня пишут, просто, но я думаю, если после боя буду говорить. Просто они не просят меня, чтобы я не постил, потому что типа говорят, что их не будет понять. Так что не волнуйтесь, и в России, я думаю, что у меня больше фанатов, чем у Анкалаева.
Круто, спасибо, удачи, удачно тебе выступить.
Спасибо,
тебе
спасибо
большое
большое.
за ответ. Yeah, thank you very much.
And we will take our next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hello, Yeon. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Very good. Thank you.
First of all, I want to congratulate you because you beat COVID. So,
Thank you.
and my first question is: do you think there is going to be another controversy, or this fight will finish like on a brutal way?
Cum crezi, lupta asta iarăși va fi controversată, adică întoarsă, controlată de Nevada Athletic Commission, sau lupta asta se va termina foarte brutal și adică nu va mai trebui să cineva să
Eu știu una, lupta asta să fie terminată.
dea rezultat?
Eu știu una, lupta asta să fie terminată. Sâmbătă noi terminăm. Terminăm tot teatru, terminăm toată istoria care a fost până acum.
Yeah, good question. Thank you very much. So I know one thing, that this fight is going to be ended on Saturday night, and you'll see everyone.
Okay, and what do you expect from your rival, Magomed Ankalaev?
Ce te aștepți de la adversarul tău, de la Ankalaev?
Nimic.
Nothing.
Okay, so what's your prediction for the fight? Knockout, submission, or what?
Care sunt predicțiile tale sunt pentru...
Surprise.
Yeah, it's a surprise, guys. Yeah, you'll see.
Thank you very much, Yeon. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Yeon. Those are all the questions we had for you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
okay. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you.
We are now joined by the number 8 ranked UFC light heavyweight contender of the world, Aleksandar Rakic. Alexander, thank you for the time today, sir.
Thank you.
We will take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage-Side Press.
Hello, Alexander. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So your last fight was razor close. Now that you've had a few months to think about it, do you feel that you won and that you should be on a 13-fight win streak right now?
Absolutely. I won that fight. Even the UFC knows I won that fight. They gave me after this fight Anthony Smith, an even better ranked opponent than Volkan. And I fight in Las Vegas. I am now the main event. I won that fight clearly. I never felt like a loser 1 second.
Obviously, it's about to be a very busy month in your weight class. New champion, top contender. I mean, is there more pressure for you to put on a great performance knowing that now that you're the main event, this could be a big opportunity to get into that conversation for the title?
Yeah, crazy things going on in the light heavyweight division is very interesting. What happened, John left, and Reyes and Jan fighting for the title now. It's very interesting for me, but I don't want to put any more pressure on my shoulders. My job is to go on Saturday in and to make a statement and to make a great performance. Anything else gonna come by their own, And we're gonna decide what we're gonna do after this fight, But important is now Anthony Saturday to make a big statement there.
We've heard about many places. The travel is sometimes difficult. Did you have a lot of trouble being able to get from Austria to the US?
Basically, we was supposed to arrive on Friday last week. We couldn't. They didn't let us. The airline told us we cannot enter the US. And then one day later, the UFC sent some papers over, and it was not a problem. We get cleared. We came on Saturday. It was not a problem at all.
Two final quick ones. Can I get your predictions for Reyes versus Blachowicz and then Thiago Santos versus Glover?
Yeah, I pick Reyes and I pick Thiago.
Thank you. And the final one, Anthony Smith, he's coming off a loss, but like you said, he's a bigger name and still ranked. What does he bring to the table as an opponent?
I mean, Anthony, everybody watches the last fight of Anthony, and everybody thinks he's done, he took a beating, but this was just a fight, and his previous fights was pretty good. I respect him as a fighter. He's very experienced, tough, and it's a great challenge for me, and I love challenges, and man, this motivates me to fight a better ranked opponent and to be able to be in the top 5 of the world on Saturday. This motivates me as hell.
Thank you, Alexander.
You're welcome.
We will take our next questions from Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA.
Hey, Alexander, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Alexander, this is your first fight into these new conditions with all the procedures against the COVID-19 and all that. So how are you adapting to all these different fight week and the pandemic situation?
I mean, it's something new for all of us, We are dealing with this pandemic for a couple of months, and I mean, it's everything takes longer, a lot of paperwork, and this is sometimes a headache. But in the end of the day, a fight is a fight, Fighting without a crowd, it's okay for me, I don't care if I fight in front of 20,000 or if I fight in front of my coaches, even maybe it's gonna be better to fight in front of my coaches. I can hear them better, and I can hear Anthony, Maybe he wants to talk to me in the fight, or I can hear his breathing. So I think it's a perfect way to start a main event in Vegas like this.
And talking about all these new conditions, what do you think about the octagon in the Apex, the smaller octagon? Does it place on your favor or not?
I need to be honest. I was doing my camp in American Top Team Zagreb, and they have also an octagon, a big octagon, a UFC octagon. And I knew I'm gonna fight in a smaller one, but I was 2 days before, I was in the UFC Performance Institute, and I was training in the octagon, and I asked the guys over there who work there, is this the octagon, the same octagon in Apex? And they say yes. And man, this is a pretty big octagon, So I have no problem, The smaller octagon you're gonna see more action, But I'm ready for everything.
And which type of fight do you imagine on Saturday?
Like I said, I'm a striker. My background is striking, but I've been wrestling and grappling for now almost 10 years. I've been working a lot of my wrestling in my last camp. I brought a new coach in, so I'm prepared for everything. Of course, everybody wants to knock a knockout, you know. This is the best way to finish a fight, the spectacular way. But
Yeah.
like I said, I don't care. You're gonna see how Anthony wants, what he wants, what he wish for. Maybe he go for the takedown. Maybe he wants the ground game. But yeah, let's see.
And Aleksandar, if you get the win on Saturday and everything is good according to your health and your body, when would you like to come back to the octagon? Would you like a quick comeback?
I think a really quick comeback I don't want, you know, because
Yeah.
I want, after every fight, I want to spend some time with my family, because in my whole camp I wasn't with them. And the other thing is, I'm this type of guy. I want to improve between my fights, you know, every time. Now this fight, you know, it was 8 months after my last one. This was a little bit too long. Normally I take every 6 months a fight. So I take 2-3 months of only improving my skills to be a better fighter, you know. And I think this will be the same after this fight, you know. Maybe end of the year or beginning of the new year, I would love to fight again.
Do you have any opponent in mind, or you're just thinking into Anthony Smith?
My focus is 100% on Anthony Smith on Saturday, and to make a big statement, a big performance. After this fight, we're gonna see what happened. Maybe I'm gonna be the next title challenger, or maybe UFC want another fight for a top contender. We're gonna see.
Okay, thank you very much, Aleksandar, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We will take the next question from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Aleksandar, we heard when this fight was announced as the main event that it was going to be 3 rounds instead of 5 rounds, and obviously it came together kind of late that you guys were the main event, but was it ever presented to you as a possibility of a 5-round fight, or did you want a 5-round fight?
I mean, I'm ready for 5 rounds. I did a hell of a camp. We didn't expect we're gonna be the main event, so systematically we didn't prepare for 5 rounds, you know, because you need to plan everything, you need to do the training a little bit different. But anyways, I was training really hard. I had really hard time in my camp, and basically I could do 5 rounds. I have the condition, I have the power, but anyways, 3 rounds, it's okay for me. For me, it's important my performance.
We saw in Anthony's last fight, you know, even though it was a loss, he showed such incredible durability and heart and just toughness. And, you know, he talked about a lot after the fight, how he didn't want to get out of there. You know, he doesn't want to be, you know, he never wants the fight to be stopped, that kind of thing. How do you approach a fight with a guy like that who you know is going to be impossibly tough, and you're going to have to probably show patience? You know, even if you do hurt him, you know, you got to show patience to get a finish.
Yes, Anthony's a tough guy, and that's great. I love tough challenges, and he's in the top 5. You know, if I want to fight for the belt in this soon or in the future, I need to beat him. So it doesn't matter, you know. If I don't fight him now, I'm gonna maybe fight him later. So, and the time is right now, and I'm ready, you know. I can be patient, you know. I can go 3 rounds with no problems, you know. I don't need to finish him. The finish, if it happens, it happens, you know. I'm also ready to dominate all 3 rounds.
And considering that we are about to crown a new light heavyweight champion, you know, coming up at the end of September, do you feel like this is a bigger opportunity now, you know, to make a statement and kind of put your name into that contention? Because, you know, we do know that, you know, John Jones is gone, the division's moving on, and, you know, we don't have, you know, clear-cut #1 contenders beyond that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I need, and I will make a statement on Saturday, so they know, the world knows who Aleksandar Rakic is, and after I beat Anthony, I'm gonna be right in the top 5. So maybe a potential title contender. We're gonna see what's happened.
And my last question, you know, John Jones was such a phenomenal champion in this division, maybe the greatest of all time. Is there any small part of you that's a little disappointed you never get a chance to fight him? Or at least for now, it doesn't look like you will if he's going to leave the division. Because I know it's like when Anderson Silva was champion, everyone wanted to be the guy to beat Anderson Silva. Is there any part of you that's a little bummed you don't get a chance to maybe be the guy to beat John Jones?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little bit happy, but I'm a little bit sad, because he lived. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm happy because the way to the top, to the belt is shorter. But I'm sad because if you become a champion in light heavyweight, the people gonna say, "Hey, you need to beat John Jones to become the real light heavyweight champion." So you're never gonna be the champion in the people's eyes. You need to beat him. But maybe John, after he had a couple of fights in heavyweight, maybe he wants to challenge himself and go back to light heavyweight and want to be a double champ. You never know. Or maybe in the future, I'm gonna meet John in the heavyweight division. You never know what happened,
Thank you, Alexander.
You're welcome.
And we will take our last set of questions from Stephen Morocco with Vox Media.
Hey, Alexander. When this whole pandemic started, did you expect to be fighting in Fight Island?
Yes, I expected I'm gonna fight in Fight Island, but it didn't came to it, I didn't have the opponent yet, so yeah, I got the offer to fight Anthony, in Vegas, and then I was reading that because of the pandemic, maybe the UFC gonna close the borders, no events, and I thought, okay, maybe we're gonna fight in Fight Island, but God thanks, everything goes by plan, and we are here in Vegas, and yeah, it's for me, it's even better, to fight in Vegas, in the capital of the fight capital of the world, of the fighting capital.
Do you have a difficulty finding opponents or getting opponents?
Please again.
Do you have a difficulty getting opponents? Like, does your matchmaker,
Yeah, I mean nowadays, the guys, some of those guys want to fight you, some of those no, but I'm looking to fight always better ranked opponents than me because I know I can beat them, and I know I'm gonna be the champion sooner or later. And I got the offer. They offered me Anthony, and I was happy, really, really happy. I was like screaming, and I was like a kid.
So can you also just clarify real quick how they got past the travel restrictions to get you into the Vegas?
Yeah, we were supposed to fly on Friday. Me and my team came to the airport, and we want to check in, and the airline told us, no, you cannot enter the US for some reasons, and we came back home. One day later, we got some papers from the UFC, and everything was perfect. So we went to America with no problems.
Gotcha. So what do those papers say?
I think this was the security waiver sheets. We didn't have it. We didn't have it in our hand. We had it. The UFC did it for us, but we didn't have it in the hand, so we couldn't show it to the people. But the next day, we printed, we got it with everything, and yeah, we showed them, and they was like, okay, let's go. You can go.
Good. I'm glad that happened for you. Last question. Did the Volkan fight, the loss to Volkan, make you rethink how you fight in the cage? Or do you think you just got a bad set of judges on that night?
I won that fight clearly, you can do everything, every time, every fight you can do. You are not the perfect, you can do everything better. And I got a lot of experience from this fight, going 3 rounds against a former title challenger, a tough guy, Volkan Ozdemir. I learned a lot from this fight. We changed a little bit our training, but basically everything is the same. Only thing you're gonna see on Saturday, a better version of Aleksandar Rakic than the last time in Korea.
Thank you, Alexander. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. That is all the time we have for you, sir.
Thank you.
And next up, we will be joined by UFC middleweight Maki Pitolo. We now welcome UFC middleweight Maki Pitolo. Maki, thank you for the time, sir.
What's up, guys?
What's up? We will take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hey, Maki. So this is a quick turnaround for you. Can you describe just getting the call to fight Impa and the timing of everything?
Timing was always perfect. I came out of my last fight, even though I lost, came out injury free. And this is what I like to do, man. I like to compete. I said that the last time, man. I'm ready all the time. If I come out of my fights unscathed, let's go to the next one.
Now, I know the fight got pushed back just a little bit. For the record, was that UFC or was that you guys that pushed for that?
I'm not too sure what happened, but it was good on my part. I got a little bit more recovery and a lot more training in.
The last fight, with the way it played out and everything, do you take a lot from that to build on with the short turnaround, or is it more the mental aspect and staying focused in the cage?
Yeah, of course. It's always a lesson learned. If you take a loss, man, you got to learn from it. And took a lot from that one, even though it was such a short time. I can buckle down a little bit more on my footwork. And in the submission, I should have been fighting it the right way. I didn't fall the right way, but it is what it is. I'm ready to make the turnaround and correct my mistakes if it goes there. And I'm excited, man.
Not for nothing, but this is going to be your third fight of the pandemic. Not too many guys have hit that mark in the time that we've had things as they are. I mean, does it feel normal, so to speak, now?
Yeah, for me, it feels normal. Fighting is what I do. Fighting is what I love. So if I can fight every week, I would. So this is what I love to do, man. Making quick turnarounds. These are rare opportunities that a lot of people don't have the chance to do, and I'm taking full advantage of it.
Final question. What does he bring as an opponent that makes him dangerous?
He's undefeated. He's a focused guy. He won a contract, and he's making a quick turnaround also. So I'm sure he's excited to make a statement, and I'm excited to make a statement against him. You guys can look to see fireworks coming.
Hey, thank you, Maki.
Of course.
And we will take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Maki, obviously, coming into this fight, I mean, obviously coming off a loss, there's always something to prove, but making a quick turnaround, I know how, Hawaiian guys are with fighting, it's like in your blood. Is that just part of who you are, or is there a part of you that says, I want to wash that bad taste of defeat out of my mouth?
No, it's just who we are. It's who we are, man. We love to, we have the fighting spirit born in us, and this is what I love to do, man. This right here is what I live for. This is what I love to do. It provides for my family. I get to represent my island. It's all the things that I love to do, all combined into one. And for me to be able to go out there and fight on the biggest stage, it's exciting, man. This is. Thank you to the man upstairs. I get to do what I love to do.
Yeah. Is it crazy to think, what this last, year has been for you when you think about, getting into the UFC, and then you've been so busy. I know a lot of guys talk about, I want to stay busy, I want to stay active, I want to have that Cowboy Cerrone schedule, but then things happen or injuries or whatever. I mean, can you kind of give me, encapsulate what your time in the UFC has been like for you? Because you've had kind of a pretty crazy ride.
Yeah, it is a crazy ride. I love it. And I feel like this is where you got to find the balance between things, my family, my training, my recovery sessions, the fighting. I feel like it all plays an even play, and I feel like I'm doing all the right things right now.
Is there a part of you came in on day one and had this reputation after, what you did, to get into the UFC of kind of being this guy who goes out and puts on exciting fights, and, we love to watch you fight, and you get these kind of, main card or kind of highlight places on the card to fight at. But obviously, at the end of the day, it's about wins and losses. So where do you balance that in your own head when you go into a fight like this, where you're coming off a loss, you want to get a win, but you are a guy who is well known for being exciting?
I take this one from my boy Max. I go into every fight 0-0, and I look to beat my last performance every time.
In terms of like that exciting fighter reputation, though, do you appreciate that? Does that put any extra pressure on your head to go out there and have those kind of fights, or is that just who you are?
It's just who I am. Look, I train to be the best, and I train to entertain everybody out there, all the eyes watching. Coconut Bombs, I didn't get the name for no reason, my brother. So, I mean, I'm looking to provide. I'm looking to entertain. And these are rare times. These are times when there's no NBA, no NFL. There's a lot of negative going on around the world. So if I can just give a little smile, give a little cheer, jump off the seat, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want when I fight, and I feel like I bring that every single time I come to the cage.
Thank you very much, Maki.
Yeah, of course.
All right, thank you, Maki. That looks like all the questions we have for you, sir. You're good to go.
Come on, guys.
Next up, we will be joined by the number 14 ranked UFC welterweight Neil Magny. We now welcome UFC welterweight Neil Magny. Neil, thank you for the time today, sir.
Oh, no problem. Pleasure to talk to you all.
We will take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press.
Cool.
Hello, Neil. So on a few weeks' notice, you go from a surging contender to one of the biggest names in the division. Just what's it been like to make this adjustment between opponents?
Honestly, it wasn't a huge change as far as the opponents go. I mean, if you break them both down, they're both super athletic. They're both southpaws. They're both power punchers. So there wasn't a huge shift going from Jeff Neal to Robbie Lawler. But the kind of excitement that fight against Robbie Lawler brings, that's definitely something that's going to play a factor for sure.
This is your second fight of the pandemic. Did you bring anything with you from home to pass the time, to make it easier that you didn't think of the first time?
I actually brought less this time. I mean, the last time I was out here, I bought the PlayStation and all the stuff to distract me when I was here. And it played as too much of the distraction. And like fighting became the least of my priorities then. I was like a little too comfortable at that point. So being in a hotel room now and actually being able to visualize and play the fight over my mind over and over and over. I feel like it's going to help me a lot more as opposed to last time when I was here. It was just a little too many distractions for me being in that hotel room with the games and all this other stuff that had going on.
You're a guy who is known for fighting so often and keeping quite the schedule. I know 2019 is what it was, but can you talk about what it's like to be back on track and to be back on schedule, so to speak, by being so active this year?
Man, it feels great. I thank God for it every day. I mean, to be in a position that I'm in now to compete as often as I am and stay as healthy as I am with all these fights. I mean, I'm truly fortunate for it, and I'm taking advantage of every opportunity that's presented to me. The difference between the years prior to now is before it's kind of riding it out, enjoying myself. Yes, I was always planning for the future and that kind of thing. But at this point, like having a son and having a wife and all that stuff now in 2020, there's no room for error. There's no room for slacking up. There's no room to kind of like take a day or an opportunity for granted. So to be able to compete as often as I can and provide for my family and keep moving forward, make my goals, my dreams come true is amazing.
Final one from me. I think there's a bit of perception. Could Robbie Lawler be slowing down a little bit? Could it be just a little more vulnerable than he used to be? Watching him and preparing for him, I mean, what do you expect to see out of Robbie when you get out there?
So yeah, that's been the theme of this whole fight we going into. Everyone's like, oh, Robbie Lawler might be past his prime, might be this, might be that. I'd be an idiot to think that for a second that Robbie Lawler's past his prime. This guy's one of the most dangerous welterweights on the planet. He was a UFC champion for a reason. So I can't take him lightly. I can't look past him at all. And look at the last couple of fights he had. I mean, it was it doesn't really represent the kind of fighter he is and the kind of fight he's able to bring to the table. The RDA fight, he hurt his knee early on. The Ben Askren fight, it was that fluke submission that he wasn't necessarily out on, but the ref called it anyway. And Covington did a good job controlling the whole fight. But the biggest thing for me is just staying focused and realizing that in front of me is the most dangerous Robbie Lawler ever, and going out there and fighting that guy.
Thank you.
No problem.
We will take our next questions from Danny Segura with MMA Junkie.
Hey, Neil. Can you recount when you found out that Robbie Lawler was going to step in on short notice and how that fight came together? Because usually replacement opponents are either UFC newcomers or guys that are just starting out in the promotion, not former champions.
Yeah, I mean, it caught me a little bit off guard at first. I mean, like when I first got the email about the Jeff Neal falling out, I was kind of bummed. It's like, hey man, he fell out of the fight. With standby, we're trying to find a replacement. And the next day, I was like, hey, Robbie Lawler wants to fight, and I was just like, holy crap, this is even better. So it was just pure excitement and joy when I was just like, heck yeah, I get a new opponent, a guy who's, like I said, is a legend, a guy who I can really go out there and make a name for myself again. So I was super excited to get that matchup.
Yeah, no disrespect to Geoff, but do you almost feel like this is a better scenario?
Yes and no. I mean, the fight against Robbie Lawler, there's a lot of prestige behind his name, so to speak, being a former world champion and being in the sport for as long as he's been. But at the same time, Jeff Neal's the young guy that you want to test yourself against. I mean, he's undefeated in UFC. He's on an amazing win streak right now. He has a lot of steam behind him. So that's kind of the fight that not necessarily excites you more, but brings its own level of excitement. Like if I go out there and beat Robbie Lawler, there'll be some naysayers that are like, oh yeah, well, he's been past his prime, he's this, he's that. There's gonna be room for people to critique and say and downplay the win. Where if I were to beat a guy like Jeff Neal, it's like, holy crap, dude, this guy was undefeated in UFC. He was making a sprint to the top of the division, and you just stopped him in his tracks. That's amazing. So each fight comes with its own list of things to take away from, but at the end of the day, I'm happy with the Robbie Lawler matchup.
For sure. And you're no stranger to fighting big names. You fought Carlos Condit, Johnny Hendricks, obviously guys that mean a lot to the division, and other guys as well. But where would you rank Robbie Lawler among all those names that you faced prior? Do you think he's the biggest name you've faced?
At this point in my career, I think he is the biggest name that I've faced thus far, and it comes with a lot of weight behind it as well. I mean, at this point, it's like, man, you like Robbie Lawler's not a guy that people are willing to fight on short notice, or a guy that people get excited to fight. So for me to take this fight with the amount of time that I had and knowing what I could go out there and do on Saturday night, it's exciting for me. And I can't wait to put on a performance that to have people talking on Monday morning.
For sure. And last question for me. You have two solid wins, back to back, or very solid opponents. Now you're facing a big name in Robbie Lawler. Do you think a win here will put you in the title mix? What do you think a victory over Robbie Lawler and the streak that you're in right now will do to your career?
It definitely throws me in the top 10 for sure with the win over Robbie Lawler. But at this point, it's literally up to me. How I go out there and perform against Robbie Lawler would dictate what happens later on this year. So for me, it's going out there and just taking control of what I want to happen with my career. I go out there, put on a great performance against them. Then I'm fighting guys that are in the top 10 and moving closer to that title shot. I'm not going to be as naive to say like, yeah, if I beat Robbie Lawler on Saturday, I'm ready to fight for a title on Monday. I know there's going to be some work to be done as far as working my way through the ranks and that kind of thing. But a win against Robbie Lawler definitely propels me in the right direction.
Thank you, Neil. Good luck on Saturday.
No problem. Thank you.
We will take our next questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Everything is fine. Thanks for asking. The first thing I want to ask you is, you said that Yeon Neil and Robbie had a similar style. So what do you think is the main difference between them? So you have to adapt your style for that.
To be honest with you, the main difference between a fight against Robbie Lawler and Jeff Neal would be the experience level. Robbie Lawler is a guy who's been in deep waters plenty of times before and finds a way to win. I mean, you watch his fight against Mainhoof and plenty of other guys where it's like, man, dude, he's out of the fight and he somehow finds a way to rally back, get a knockout, and win the fight. So his fight IQ is definitely a lot further than Jeff Neal. So that's something to take into account on Saturday night is the experience level. But when it's all said and done, it's up to me to go out there and get it done. Like it's a fight that's definitely winnable for me. It's a fight that I know I can go out there and put a great performance in. So at this point, it's just go out there and execute.
Okay, what do you expect from Robbie? He is coming from 3 consecutive losses. Do you think he's going to come very aggressive and try to knock you out?
When have you seen the Robbie Lawler fight where he wasn't aggressive? He came for a knockout. I definitely expect him to be similar to Donald Cerrone fight, where he just sprinted out and then threw everything he had toward Donald Cerrone, and that's the kind of fight that I'm expecting. I'm expecting it to be fireworks from beginning bell to whenever that fight may end. So that's the kind of Robbie Lawler I'm expecting. The guy who is dangerous everywhere, the guy who's experienced, the guy who was a former world champion for a reason, and that's the kind of fight that's going to bring out the best in me.
And what's your prediction for the fight?
Me getting my hand raised, whether it's submission, TKO, or decision. I'm getting my hand raised on Saturday night.
And where do you think a victory over Robbie Lawler puts you in?
It definitely propels me further in the top 10 of my division, where I can start facing the guys in rank 6, 7, 8, 9 along those ranks or whatever. But it definitely puts me a step in the right direction. And this is a huge fight for me, a huge opportunity for me to go out there and take advantage of.
Thank you very much, Neil, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And we will take our last set of questions from Ezequiel Borganzi with Super Luchas.
Hey, hello, Neil. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. So, how it was this training camp? Because you already had 2 on this year, 1 in the pandemic. So, how is it for you now? Are you more used to, or there some things that you are not really used to in these times?
The training camp has been great. I mean, like I said, like my motivation has been higher in years. I'm in a great position right now. Literally, my last fight against Tony Martin, I was in the gym on Monday, already asking my coach, like, hey, what do you think about the fight? Where do you think I can improve? What do you think I should work on? And putting the work in. So whether it was Jeff Neal, Robbie Lawler, or whomever else, I was then prepared to go out there and just show a more evolved, better version of myself from my last fight already. So it wasn't. I don't think the pandemic slowed me down at all. If anything, I think it helps because, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the distractions are gone. A lot of the extra bodies that tend to be on the mat that pulls away coaches' attentions are gone. So I'm really able to kind of focus in on what I need to and focus in on the things I do to get better to continue winning these fights.
And you are 3 victories away to tie the same record Georges St. Pierre has about wins in your division, the history of the division. How do you feel about that? How much do you think that you will need to tie that record?
It feels great. Like I was saying earlier, like this whole process is unfolding great. I mean, going from a 19-year-old kid walking on the mat trying to figure this thing out to being where I'm at now, where I'm fighting guys who are legends in the sport. I'm having wins over guys who are former champions, and I'm being put in the same category of guys who are considered the greatest of all time in the sport. I mean, it is lets you know I'm doing the right things and I'm working in the right direction. I mean, it's one of those weird things that everyone looks at success like this, like straight path to the top or whatever, but it's filled with deep valleys and hills and that kind of thing, and there's some low points in it, but overall, if I look back the last 8 years I spent with the UFC, I made a steady climb to the top, and I can't wait to see what this is going to be like when it's all over.
And my last question, besides sports, is, well, it has to, its relation with sports. The NBA should communicate that all games of today are postponed because the players protested against, racism in America. What do you think about that, and how important do you think that this is for sports in general? Because it's a very historic moment.
So every opportunity you have to kind of be a light in the time of darkness is a great opportunity. If I can do that through sports, then I'll do it through sports. If I can do it through my actions, as far as how I treat people on a daily basis and who I run into and that kind of thing, I'll do it that way. The cool thing is about being an athlete, being on television worldwide, is you do have a platform, you do have an opportunity to kind of speak to some of the injustices and things that you don't agree with throughout the world, and it's a platform that no one can take away from you. So it is important, in my opinion, to have that platform and use it as best as you can. So I'm actually grateful that sports are able to be out there where a lot of people are using their platform to kind of shed light to the darkness that's going on and bring light to certain situations that otherwise have been overlooked or passed over for many more generations and years. So that's a good thing. But at the end of the day, it's just it's about making a positive effect on people's lives on an everyday basis, whether it's giving someone a 15-minute distraction watching me fight so they don't have to deal with something else going on in life, or someone getting motivated by seeing me do or say something. I'm ready for all that.
Thank you very much, and good luck on Saturday.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neil. That is all the time we had for you, sir.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Next up, we will be joined by the number 14 ranked women's flyweight contender, Yeon Kim. We now welcome UFC women's flyweight Yeon Kim. We will take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Capeside Press.
Hello, G. I know this fight was rescheduled due to the coronavirus affecting travel. Can you just talk a bit about how it's improving or what it's like back home?
시합은 스케줄이 체인지 됐잖아요.
네네.
그런데 한국에서는 준비하는데 어떻게 준비는 지금까지 어떻게 하는지 더 낫는지 준비를 다시 해야 돼가지고.
원래 이제 6월 달에 시합이 잡혔었는데 코로나 때문에 좀 연기가 되면서 예. 이제 근데 뭐 상대가 알렉사 그라소 선수였는데 뭐 언젠가는 시합을 할 거라고 생각했기 때문에 저도 그냥 꾸준히 시합을 한다는 생각을 갖고 계속 훈련에 임했고 뭐 상대에 대한 분석 그리고 아무래도 그 전에 수술을 했기 때문에 그 부분에 대한 회복도 더 단단하게 하고 더 기능성 있는 훈련을 진행한 것 같습니다.
Being that due to coronavirus, we did have to reschedule it, and I knew that she was going to be someone that I was going to face. So I just prepared myself, and I did have surgery last year in October. So I felt that this was a lot better for me to heal and have more time for my recovery from my surgery.
Talking about that, so this is quite a long layoff for you. It's going to be coming up close to a year. You talked about recovering from surgery, but when you have that much time off, what do you do without a fight to improve as a fighter?
좀 있으면 1년 정도 되잖아요. 시합한 죠. 그런데 그 선수들한테는 거의 1년 정도는 시간이 너무 길잖아요. 시합한 지. 그런데 수술하고 나서 회복하고 1년 동안 관리 그런 건 어떻게 하셨어요?
일단은 회복에 대한 부분을 굉장히 많이 했고 뭐 수술하고 재활적인 부분과 그리고 이제 아무래도 한번 다치다 보니까 운동선수는 몸이 굉장히 중요한 부분인데 그래서 마음도 많이 약해졌던 부분도 조금 더 단단하게 마음을 가다듬었고 그리고 뭐 컨디션이나 이런 몸 건강적인 부분에 굉장히 중점을 많이 뒀어요. 그래서 시합 때만이 아니라 평소에도 항상 건강 관리를 하고 언제 시합이 있어도 기회가 오면 할 수 있게 몸 상태를 이제 좀 만들었고 그런 뭐 몸이나 멘탈적인 정신적인 부분도 좀 회복적인 부분에 굉장히 신경을 많이 써서 훈련을 했던 것 같아요. 더 강해진 느낌을 받고 있습니다.
So after my surgery, it was obviously difficult, but I did a lot of stuff to recover. I did a lot of physical therapy, and of course, to any athlete, their body's their number one thing. And being that I did have surgery, and I wasn't my 100%, I did have to do a lot of health stuff, meaning like taking good care of myself and conditioning. But I've always been a very healthy, health-conscious person. So as an athlete, I had to make sure that my mental game and my physical strength was back up. And of course, it's discouraging having to have surgery and a little setback. But I prepared myself, and then I'm mentally and physically ready. And I always know that I always have to be in good tip-top shape so that I can, whenever there is a fight coming up, I'm ready for it.
What do you expect to be different about Alexa at flyweight compared to what we've seen from her at strawweight?
strawweight보다 flyweigh는 알렉사는 상대로 어떻게 생각하세요?
일단 알렉사 그라소 선수가 스트로이트 뛰기에는 제가 봤을 때는 뭐 이제 뭐 평체라던가 체격이 좀 큰 상태여서 오히려 플라이급에 좀 더 적합해서 더 좋은 뭐 신체 능력이나 그런 것 퍼포먼스를 더 보여줄 것이라고 생각해서 뭐 저와 플레이급에서 처음 이제 시합을 하는데 굉장히 재밌는 게임이 나올 것 같다는 생각이 들었습니다.
So Alexa is strawweight. She seemed very big for her weight class, and being that it's flyweight, I think that she'll have a lot of different. We'll see a lot of different things in her performance, and being that this is the first time I am in the flyweight division, I feel that it'll be a very exciting fight for us.
Final question. How did you get a cool nickname like Fire Fist?
Fire Fist 닉네임은 어떻게 누가 지어준 거예요?
네, 주위에 지인분들이 좀 지어줬는데 주먹이 좀 세다. 그리고 시합 하면은 상대가 좀 코피를 좀 많이 흘리기도 하고 좀 불같은 주먹이다. 그래서 주위에서 좀 강하다는 주먹을 좀 어필 하다 보니까 그렇게 만들어졌어요.
There was a lot of teammates around me that they would just say, "Man, you hit really hard. Your fists are very strong." And a lot of the fights that she did have, a lot of her competitors had really bad bloody noses. So they were just like, "Wow, your fists are like fire." And then that's kind of how my nickname came about.
근데 한국에서는 그 파이브 피스트보다는 그 불주먹이라 그러면 강한 주먹을 뜻해서 한국말로 약간 불주먹 이렇게 많이.
So, obviously when you say it in a foreign language, translating it back to English, fire fist would be the correct translation, but there's more of a deeper, bigger meaning in Korea. So it's just saying like your hands are like flames or fires. So it's very strong. And that's honestly what it really means.
I understand. Thank you and best of luck.
And we will take our next set of questions with Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
So, with everything that's happening in the world in the pandemic time and the limitations and restrictions, how have things been for you training, and what would it mean for you to get a win during this strange time?
지금 세계에서 다 코비드 걸리는 일이 있잖아요. 근데 이번에 선수님이 1등하고 하면 어떻게?
아무래도 뭐 전 세계적으로 지금 코로나 때문에 다들 좀 힘들어하고 그런 시기인데, 네, 저희 나라에도 이제 뭐 스포츠를 좋아하는 사람들도 있고 격투기를 좋아하는 사람, 그리고 좀 뭔가 저희 나라 국민들에게 좀 뭔가 저의 승리가 조금이나마 힘이 되지 않을까, 약간 이런 더 열심히 해서 또 아무래도 월드컵이나 올림픽 이런 종목들이 승리하면 우리 다 같이 우리나라 이제 선수들을 응원하는 것처럼 뭔가 힘이 되지 않을까, 좀 국민들에게 좀 자부심을 갖고 열심히 훈련하고 시합을 준비했습니다.
Being that it is a world pandemic and it's just hard for every country in this world, obviously, there are people that watch sports in Korea and there is a fan base for the MMA community. And, she's hoping that, her bringing the win to Korea would bring joy to the country, just like a World Cup or anything, Olympics like that. So she's been training really hard so that she's able to provide that joy for the country.
And my last question is, what does a statement win over Alexa Grasso look like for her? What would be her ultimate performance?
Alexa 시합 윈을 하시면 어떻게 레벨이 어떻게 될까요?
일단 플라이웨이트에 제가 14위로 랭킹에 있는데 뭐 탑 10 안에는 뭐 들어갈 수 있지 않을까. 그렇게 하면 플라이컵에서 4연승을 하게 된 거냐, 4번 승리를 하게 되니까 조금 뭐 타이틀 매치나 이런 부분에 좀 더 앞서 이게 좀 가까워지지 않을까, 이렇게 생각하고 있습니다.
So I am ranked 14th in the fly division, and I'm hoping that this win with Alexa, I would be able to be within top 10 and then potentially, go towards a title match.
Perfect. Thank you, Yeon. That's actually all the time we had for you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Next up, we will be joined by UFC middleweight Impa Kasanganay. We now welcome UFC middleweight, newly signed UFC middleweight Impa Kasanganay. Impa, thank you for the time today, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. We will take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Impa, it seems like just earlier this month you were a guy trying to win your Contender Series fight and make it to the UFC. Now you're about to make your debut. Can you just describe what the feeling's been like the last few weeks?
The last few weeks, just feel like I'm living in a blessing. Grateful to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you to you all, writing and all the journalists. I mean, it's a blessing to even have this attention because it's funny, as a fighter, you get the attention, but you don't get here by yourself. And it's your tribe, it's your team. So huge thank you to my family and my support system, everybody at my Jitmo tribe. I just thank God for that every day. I'm glad to be here and I'm ready to do what I love. This is what I've been praying for, working for, and, looking forward to claiming victory on Saturday.
I mean, he announced, right there before you got to leave the Apex, who you were fighting next and when. I mean, when you got back home, did you just go straight to the gym? How was the process like in terms of, just take what you just did and now you're going right back into a short notice fight?
Well, so, yeah, right when I got back home, I wanted to practice that Thursday when we got back because we got back on Tuesday. My coach was like, yeah, you got to take a day off. But there's some kids in the neighborhood who wanted to get on the water slide, so I did that. Took some time to rest, recover, pray, spend time with my family. And then that Friday, I was back in practice. We had sparring, we had training, we had guys who getting ready for fights. Like Brian Barberina's getting ready. Just like you had his fight coming up. So I had really no time to rest, but that's what I love. That weekend, trained some more with Diego Costa. He helped me out so much. Working on different game plans for this fight, started breaking down the film. Then right back to work as a normal work week on Monday. That's how I like it, though. Brian's in town. I'm getting to serve my teammates, get after it. And as you saw Selecki do his job, ready to do mine and see Brian do his as well.
Can you break down what Maki does well as an opponent?
Maki does a lot of things well. He mixes it up. I love the way he fights. He comes to fight. I think that's the first thing. Like, people focus, I think, on so many things like how they want to be flashy. But I know one thing that Maki does super well is that he comes to fight. He's committed to it. He's not scared. He's not going to back down. Whether he won or lost, he's coming to fight. I love the way he attacks the body. I love the way he pumps his punches out. He can change rhythm, slow speeds. He'll track somebody down. He knows how to fight a little bit going backwards. Wrestling, you could see that he wrestles as a strong guy and great pressure. So looking forward for this opportunity.
The last one for me, you touched on it a little bit, but after, already it's been a great month for you. Can you put into words what it would mean to go out there on Saturday and get your first UFC victory?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's going to be a blessing, and it's going to be a ticket to take my next one. That's how I look at it. I'm here to work and just opportunity to thank God some more. And I feel like when you do what God's called you to do, it's like you're worshiping Him. So that's how I look at it, man. And it's almost like maybe I have a lack of words because this is what I've been praying for, dreaming of. This is a restaurant, Viva Chicken, I used to eat at back home in Charlotte. My teammate Diego every day after sparring. When I was an amateur and even as a pro early on. We finished sparring, and I would say, man, the day that we get to be in the UFC, man, you just watch what we're going to do. Watch what we're going to do. It's going to be crazy. We're going to do it. We got Contender Series that year. Then we didn't get it. We said, no, we're going to keep going back. So we just kept going and eating and eating and eating. Every Friday night we would eat. We would just talk about it for hours till they closed and the staff was cleaning up. So me, it's a culmination of all that, like speaking things into existence, but also working for it. Like in Proverbs says, all hard work brings profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. So all the hard work's going to pay off. All the time not giving up during quarantine, not going crazy. And I guess we went a little crazy, but that helped too. And when we claim victory on Saturday, to me, it's going to be like, okay, let's get going. It's time now. 0-0, that's how I look at it. Every fight, go 1-0, and then step into the UFC. Ready to fight September 12th, ready to fight in Abu Dhabi, ready to close out the year 4 or 5 more times. That's why I'm here. I have a lot more work to do. I haven't made it yet. I don't think I've made it at all. It's like to get in the UFC is great, but just to get in here, what does that mean? To me now, to put a stamp on it, that's the goal. So it's just the first part of it.
Hey, thank you and good luck.
Thank you. God bless.
And we'll take our next set of questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
It's me. So
Hey.
yeah. I was just gonna ask you. You go through 2 Contender Series fights. Do you feel like you have any sort of thing to prove to Dana or anyone that, you know, when you're hearing your name getting this contract, he's like, we want to see what he has, in fact, 2 weeks from now. Do you feel like you have anything to prove on Saturday that you maybe didn't get a show in your first 2 fights in the Contender Series?
No, sir. It's never been about something to prove. I think that's too much of my ego. For me to say I have something to prove, it means I'm looking for their validation. I know that me showing up ready to fight after the pandemic, 5 fights canceled, I already know what I can do. I know what we're going to be able to do, and I know I have to make adjustments. So proving to myself that maybe I have to get better. I really look at my coaches, you know, what do they think about how I fight? What adjustments did I make? Did I listen to them? Did I get going? Like last fight, my first round wasn't the best. It's not that it wasn't a good first round, but it wasn't representative of what they taught me. So for me, it's not about Dana and them. I appreciate them, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm ready to work with them. I'm grateful, but it's more important to me about the people that know me best. And when the people that know you best, you know, approve of what you did, and they can be honest with you, because they're going to tell me what I did wrong. They're going to tell me what I did right. And at the end of the day, they're going to just say, hey, keep showing up, ready to work. And I like it like that. So no seeking approval or validation. I'm here to fight and do what I do. And it's been working, so we're going to keep it that way.
Yeah, I want to ask you about those canceled fights and then the contrast of getting a fight basically before you walked out of Apex at the last Contender Series. How excited were you to have something right away and be able to jump into this new adventure?
Man, super excited, super blessed, grateful. Like I remember he said, you have a fight, and it kind of didn't register. And I was like, oh man, I have a fight. That's great. Let's ready to go. And my agent was calling me to say, are you going to take this fight? But when the number got given out, I was like, I can't answer these phone calls. I don't be rude on TV. But then at the same time too, it's like he said I called you, but I didn't see it. And when I found out that I had a fight, I just found that as a blessing. Like my fight was originally scheduled for September 1st, the last Contender Series fight, and not to have a fight for over a year, pretty much, and then to fight on the 11th, claim the victory, get the contract, plus get a fight. To me, it's like my dad tells me, like you get double for your trouble. You get a blessing, like if you stay to it. So all those fights that are canceled, I mean, none of it compares to a UFC contract if you're talking financially. But also too, like I get to do what I love, and how many people get to do that, especially like some people just started a business that closed down during the pandemic. Some people lose family members, and all my family members are healthy and alive. So to get what I do in front of that, to get to do what I love to do in front of them, I can't put it into words. So to have that fight that night was just, it's a testimony to what happens when you just trust God and keep working. I look at it.
And my last question is, how do you envision, you know, you and Maki, how your 2 styles are going to collide once we finally see you guys in there on Saturday?
Be a lot of fun. Maki's a good guy, good fighter. He messaged me. He's like, hey, he's ready to have some fun, and so am I. Really looking forward to claiming this victory. I know he's going to bring it. And any fighter like that, I respect. Like some of my favorite fighters are Hawaiian, especially Max Holloway, just the way he comes to fight. And I know Maki has that spirit in him. And I know my culture and what I've been taught, it's like you come to fight too. So the way I look at it is like get in there, gas them out, get going, do what we do best, be disciplined, stay in structure, and then dominate the fight, claim victory, leave with respect, hopefully become trading partners one day. Right now, get to work, get after it, and gonna take a lot from it. You're gonna see some exciting techniques, discipline, and intelligence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Impa. That is all the time we had for you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great job. Thanks a lot, man.
Any advice?
I'll give you some one thing.
I just realized leave. I do it.
Good, good. I'll leave with you and we'll walk out and get ready to get started.
We are now joined by UFC featherweight Ricardo Lamas. Ricardo, thank you for the time today, sir.
Thank you.
We will take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hello, Ricardo. You've been prepping for a ground specialist in Hall. Now you're booked against another opponent. Can you just talk about the stylistic adjustments?
Yeah, I was prepping for a ground opponent, but I wasn't neglecting other areas. So just like every camp, I train for just about anything and feel prepared no matter who they put me in there with.
Is there more pressure because it's his UFC debut? I mean, you're the vet, you're the former title challenger. Just that added pressure to, hey, show that there are levels to the game, so to speak?
There's pressure for every fight. You know, that just comes with the sport. It comes with the job. So learning how to deal with it is what I've done since day one. So I don't think it's going to be any different from any other fight. I know he's a newcomer. I know he's going to be trying to prove to people that he belongs here, and I'm going to be trying to prove to people that there are levels to this game, just like you said.
You've had a bit of a layoff between fights. What did you work on in the time between in terms of becoming a better fighter?
I kept training the whole time, you know, just constantly trying to experiment with things, and focused on my business, UFC gym in Naperville, and that was about it.
Final question. What does Bill bring as an opponent that makes him dangerous?
He just brings in that he's got nothing to lose in this fight. You know, that makes anybody dangerous. So he's just going to come in kind of, you know, I feel like everybody's expecting him to lose because he's a newcomer and he's going up against a vet like myself. And I need to be wary of that and just stay technical, stick to my game plan, and just adapt to whatever he brings in the cage.
Thank you, Ricardo.
You're welcome.
We will take our next set of questions from Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you, Ricardo. I'm curious about this pandemic and the training. You mentioned Illinois. Did you do any training in Miami or South Florida, or just stayed up by the home base?
Yeah, I went down and spent 2 weeks in Miami. These last 2 weeks, right before I came out to Las Vegas. It was about 2.5 weeks. So normally I do 4. I cut it a little short just because it was kind of a COVID hotbed down there. But while I was there, we were really careful with the training, with who I was training with. And, you know, it worked out. I passed the first COVID test. So happy about that. And besides that, it was kind of just normal business down there.
How long in your time have you been training in Miami too? And what brought you to Miami to train?
So back in 2009, it was just kind of by chance. We went down there. I was in the middle of a camp back when I was fighting in the WEC. It was around the October time. So weather was kind of breaking in Chicago, getting a little cold. And we decided to go down and train in Miami for a week just to kind of get away. Ended up at a gym called MMA Masters and got my ass kicked. And I was like, wow, that's what I need. So I kept going back and kind of met, like, you know, my trainers there. One of my best friends now, good training partner of mine, Louis Palomino. And then from that point on, I'd go down for every fight for a month before the fight.
Ricardo, in South Florida especially, it's been like a hotbed on here as far as MMA. And we all hear about American Top Team, and they're doing great things. And Henry Hoof with Sanford MMA. Not too much we don't hear about Masters. And I'm just wondering if you just tell us a little more about Masters and how are they, and just you training there and bringing them up, and everyone there bringing MMA Masters up.
Yeah, you know, we ended up there. I felt like I clicked really well with the people training there and with my coaches. If you go down to Miami and you go to like the local fight scene, you know, Top Team, MMA Masters, back when Black Zillions was there, they were kind of all fighting each other. Like those were the biggest fights that the local promoters were putting together. So they were kind of like the diamond in the rough, and I just felt like I kept learning every time I went down there and trained with them. So that's what made me keep going back.
And who did you bring with you for this fight?
Cesar Carnero, Daniel Valverde are my coaches from MMA Masters, and I brought my business partner in my gym, who was my former college wrestling teammate, and he helped me out a lot this camp with my conditioning and stuff. So Matt Kusher's his name.
Hey, thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you.
We will take our next set of questions from Danny Segura with MMA Junkie.
Hey, Ricardo. So obviously a lot going on in the world right now, and you yourself, you're obviously a husband, a father, you own a gym. And then, a week out, Ryan Hall falls out. What's sort of been your mindset in these last few days? Did you think they were able to find you an opponent? What's it sort of been like dealing with an opponent falling out and all that, plus everything that's going on right now in the world?
Yeah, at first, it was just alarming because I didn't know if they were going to be able to find an opponent. And it sucks when it happens at that point where you're pretty much in your last week of camp or last pretty much few days of training. And then for something like that to happen is pretty devastating. It took me about 12 hours to process it and let it sink in and then kind of readjust my mindset. But once I did that, I was good. And I just kept training until finally they came back and said that Bill Algeo took the fight. So, thank you to him for taking it on such short notice and during these crazy times.
Yeah, for sure. And we spoke a few months ago when Ryan Hall pulled out of the first booking, and then eventually that card ended up getting postponed. And you were pretty upset about him withdrawing from the bout. And now he withdrew a second time for this card. Is that a fight you'd even want to revisit at some point, or are you kind of done with the Ryan Hall matchup?
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about Ryan Hall right now. I'm 100% focused on Bill Algeo. So he's in front of me right now. He's who I have to worry about. So any other possible matchup isn't even in my head at the moment.
For sure. And you were excited for that matchup with Ryan Hall to sort of test your grappling skills because you got a very underrated grappling skill set, or at least you felt that way. For this one, do you still want to do that, or is the plan to take things to the ground and kind of prove everyone that you got some of the best ground skills in the weight class, or what's kind of the game plan here?
The game plan is going to be to take advantage of every opportunity that comes my way in that fight and just stay on my toes and just be kind of reactive and react to the situation that's given to me at that given moment.
Sure. And last question in Spanish. ¿Le quieres mandar un saludo o un mensaje a toda la gente latina, a toda la gente hispana que te ha estado apoyando por muchos años y te van a apoyar este sábado?
Claro. Quiero mandar un saludo y agradecer a todos mis fanáticos de Latinoamérica por todo el apoyo que me han dado durante los años y durante mi carrera. Y tú sabes, una de mis metas siempre ha sido representar a todos ustedes lo mejor que puedo.
Muchas gracias, Ricardo. Suerte el sábado.
Gracias.
We will take our next questions from Alfredo Bush with Claro Sports.
Hola, Ricardo, qué gusto saludarte. Quisiera preguntarte antes que nada, ¿cómo te sientes en esta semana de pelea después de que ha pasado poquito más de un año que no subes a la jaula? ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Cómo ha sido estos meses para ti?
Me siento normal, yo soy un veterano en este deporte y estoy acostumbrado de la semana de la pelea y con todo lo que tenemos que hacer. Y para mí es normal, es como yo estaba en la jaula ayer.
¿Qué esperas este fin de semana después de que te venías preparando para un oponente, te lo terminan cambiando por distintas circunstancias? ¿Cómo lo tomas este nuevo reto?
Bueno, yo sé que es un oponente nuevo, pero va a ser los mismos resultados y yo voy a salir con la mano en alto.
¿Cómo has sentido estos meses, Ricardo, en los que el mundo ha cambiado tanto, en los que no habrá gente en las gradas? En fin, esa parte, justo para ti que eres un peleador veterano que sabe todo lo que hay alrededor, ¿cómo has vivido este tiempo?
Bien, y lo mismo que siempre, yo siempre trabajo muy, muy duro para cada pelea y no fue diferente en este campamento. O sea, el mundo cambió, pero yo no cambié. Yo siempre trabajo duro y siempre voy a trabajar duro como siempre.
Perfecto, Ricardo, te agradezco mucho. Suerte el sábado.
Gracias.
We will take the next questions from Carlos Contreras with Milenio Diario.
Ricardo, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, bien. Oye, parece obviamente que el cambio con tan corto aviso siempre es difícil, pero es una pelea que puede ser mejor para ti en el estilo, porque obviamente las peleas con Ryan Hall normalmente no son lucidoras, ¿no? Tienes que defenderte muy bien en el piso, sabes que siempre es una amenaza. Eso te puede ayudar un poco viniendo de una derrota, ¿no? Como lo que pasó con Calvin Kattar.
Sí, yo creo que esto va a ser una ventaja para mí porque este oponente quiere pelear. Un tipo como Ryan Hall siempre está corriendo y tirándose en el piso, buscando el tobillo y tratando de hacer sus trucos de jiu-jitsu. Pero me gusta esta pelea más.
¿Qué has visto de Algeo en las pocas horas que has tenido, me imagino, de estudiar?
No sé, nada que nunca he visto antes. Yo sé que es un buen peleador y es completo, es un cinta negra de jiu-jitsu, tiene un buen stand-up. Lo único es que es un poquito más alto que yo y a veces es un poquito complicado pelear con gente más alto que tiene una alcanza más larga que tú, pero yo soy un veterano y yo lo hice antes en el pasado y estoy listo, estoy preparado.
Los fans del MMA de muchos años que te vieron en la WEC y que crecieron con esta división, aunque bajaron de 155 a 145, te identifican mucho con esta generación, con Frankie Edgar, con Jose Aldo, que hoy están en 135. ¿Cómo los viste a los dos en esa división? Y no sé si imaginas llevar tu cuerpo hasta esta división en algún punto de tu carrera.
Si yo quisiera ir a 135.
Sí, primero cómo los has visto a Aldo y a Frankie, y luego si tú crees que tú pudieras.
Sí, yo he visto a Aldo y Frankie y los dos pelearon muy bien en esa categoría, pero para mí no creo que sería posible. Si yo voy a ir a una categoría nueva, yo regresaré a peso ligero, yo creo. Pero para bajar a 135 libras, para mí no es posible.
Muchas gracias, Ricardo.
De nada.
Thank you so much, Ricardo. That is all the time we had for you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Next up, we will be joined by the number 13 ranked UFC light heavyweight Magomed Ankalaev. We now welcome the number 13 ranked UFC light heavyweight Magomed Ankalaev. And we will take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press.
Hello, Magomed. This fight has obviously been rescheduled a few times since the last one. Is there any more relief or excitement to finally be able to settle this once and for all?
Мухаммад, он говорит, этот бой уже несколько раз переносили. Это повлияло как-то на тебя? Ты больше ждешь этот бой и рад, что он наконец уже состоится? Либо ты такой же настрой, как и раньше был у тебя?
Ну, настрой такой же, как и раньше, да, но это бой такой обсуждаемый, там не ставлена точка, поэтому мне самому интересно это бой. Так что ждем в субботу.
Yeah, I'm calm and confident going to this fight, but I get a little bit excited because of the media and all the fans are excited of this fight. They want to see the rematch. They want to see they want to see the results already. So that's why I got a little bit excited. But the fight itself, I'm going very calm and cold-blooded to this fight.
What do you take away from that first fight? You know, he walked right into you during the introduction and then the stoppage. I mean, when you look back at it, what do you take from the experience?
Он говорит, что ты вынес из вашего прошлого боя? Вот он на тебя пошел, то, что рано бой остановили, вот весь бой, то, что произошел, что ты вынес из него? Что-то ты, может, понял о нем, либо еще что-то? По сопернике, я имею в виду. Выводы какие-то о нем сделал.
Насчет этого я не знаю, что было, как было, просто рефери остановил бой, я потом пересмотрел бой, но можно было еще оставить, да. Поэтому
No, I didn't took anything from that fight, nothing like major. I just rewatched that fight. After the fight, right after the fight, I believe it was like kind of like early stoppage, but after I rewatched it, I'm sure referee could let us like bank a little bit more longer. So that's the only thing I took from that fight.
In terms of preparing for the fight itself, since it wasn't too long, do you make any big changes in terms of your camp and your training for Yeon?
Он говорит, с момента вашего прошлого боя ты менял что-то в подготовке, либо какие-то изменения, либо все так же прошло у тебя?
Ну, план будет такой же, да, но чуть-чуть, также, да, такой же план будет. Цель выиграть, да. Поэтому также будут стойки, начинать, об этом не нужно, наверное, говорить, да.
Да, я понял. Сейчас я расскажу. And now everything remains the same. All preparation, all camp was the same. I got the same goal, and my goal is to win this fight, like all the fights. And the only thing was changed because now we're fighting in Vegas, so I came a little bit earlier here. Last time I came like 2 weeks before the fight to US, and this time I came like a month before the fight because of jet lag and acclimatization and everything. So that's the only change I did in my camp. Everything else remains the same.
My final question, this would be a solid win streak for you if you get the victory on Saturday. Are you looking at any particular opponent in your next one?
Он говорит, ты продлишь свою победную серию, когда ты выиграешь этот бой в субботу. У тебя уже, ты, может, кого-то хочешь вызвать, либо с кем-то предпочел бы встретиться в следующем бою.
Ну, сейчас мы нацелены на этот бой, пока не хочу заранее вперед забегать. После этого боя уже мы, наверное, скажем кого-нибудь.
I don't like to look after the fight, look in the future, but after I get the victory on Saturday, obviously I want to fight with some ring guys, someone above me, so I will like get closer to the title shot. But no one particular. Maybe after the fight on Saturday, I will decide to call someone out, but for now, no.
Thank you.
You got it.
And we will take our next question from Alfredo Bush with Claro Sports.
Teníamos la duda de Frankie y era hecha porque venía de ser noqueado, porque nunca había peleado deshidratado, porque nunca había peleado en el UFC en un corte como estos. ¿Ya vio?
Hello, sir, do you have a question?
Que obviamente el cardiovascular que iba a tener lo tiene para el peso gallo.
Okay, we will move on and take our next question from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hello, Magomed. How are you?
Как дела, Мага?
Все хорошо.
Hello, sir. I'm very good. Everything is fine. Thank you.
What do you expect from your opponent for Saturday fight?
What I'm expecting from what?
From Yeon Cutelaba for the fight on Saturday.
Okay, что ты ожидаешь от Яна в субботу? Что он будет делать?
Трубка, да, там такой, что-то более принципиальный момент. Там ожидается хорошая рубка.
I expect him to come and fight. That's why he expects him to.
Rewatching the fight, do you think he was rocked or he was just like playing or something like that?
Когда ты пересмотрел ваш прошлый бой, какой вывод сделал? Ты думаешь, он действительно шатался, либо он игрался с тобой?
Ну, там, знаешь,
Не с тобой, но играл.
Он где-то пропустил, ну, дальше сыграл, может быть, да, так мы же не знаем.
After I rewatched the fight, I believe it was both. Because I know for sure I connect the punch. I wobbled him for a little, but also he just I believe he was playing a little bit, acting, so I can a little bit closer and he can counter punch me. That's what I thought.
And what's your mentality coming into the fight, knowing that you already have a victory over him?
С каким настроем ты, как ты настроен на этот бой, зная то, что ты уже его побеждал?
Настрой хороший, обычный, да, но это еще одна преграда, да, когда ты идешь к своей цели, приходится, да, через трудности, через всего перейти, поэтому цель такова выиграть его и идти дальше.
So I'm mentally ready to get the victory, to win on the Saturday night, because this is my goal, to win all the fights. And it is what it is. UFC put him in front of me again. It's like I don't care. It will be him or the other guys. I just need to win. So it doesn't matter if I'm fighting this guy again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Magomed, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Magomed. That is all the questions we had for you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Все, Мага, это все, что было.
Понял. Finish.
Next up, we will be joined by UFC featherweight Bill Algeo. We now welcome UFC featherweight Bill Algeo. Bill, thank you for the time, sir.
Yes, sir. Who am I speaking with?
You're speaking with Christoph from the UFC. We're lining up a bunch of journalists for you.
Oh, cool. What's going on, man?
Not too much. Thank you for the time. We will take our first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cape Side Press.
Okay.
Hey, Bill, how are you doing?
Good. Doing well, man.
So can you put into words, making your UFC debut, short notice, former title challenger, what's it all like for you?
Man, it's been quite a week. I found out less than a week ago, and I couldn't be happier. I think this is a great fight for me, and I'm ready to show a lot of people what I can do.
You talked about that, obviously, a short notice, but you are coming off a fight earlier this month. Is that a big benefit in that you didn't necessarily get out of shape, or is it a little rougher because you've already been through a fight to make this quick turnaround?
It depends on how that fight went, and that fight 2 weeks ago went pretty well for me. So I think it's gonna definitely aid in this upcoming fight. I'm in shape still. The biggest thing was I thought the weight cut was gonna be, the normal amount of terribleness, but it was actually pretty easy just because I am pretty light from the last fight. So that was a nice surprise.
Going back to last year, it didn't go your way on Contender Series. Can you just talk about, regrouping from that and going back to the gym to work on stuff?
Of course. I mean, anytime you lose, you have to kind of refocus on what you need to get better at. And of course, that's what I've done, as well as throughout this pandemic. I was able to train really by myself, solo, because I own a gym and I'm still paying rent. So I went there by myself and just worked on the things I needed to work on, and it was nice to not be bothered by anybody and just get to work.
After going through all that, getting back in the win column, what would it mean to you to go out there and get your first UFC victory on Saturday?
Oh man, it would mean everything. This has been a goal, 13 years in the making, and it all happened, man, in a short amount of time. And I couldn't be happier, and that would just fulfill the last 13 years.
Hey, thank you and good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we will take our next questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hello, Bill. How are you?
Good. How are you, Pablo?
I want to ask you, what's your nickname, Señor Perfecto? What's the reason to be called Señor Perfecto?
So I made a YouTube video of myself doing everything perfectly, and the name Mr. Perfect has already been done before in wrestling and in kickboxing. That's Giorgio Petrosian's name. The doctor, they call him Mr. Perfect as well. So that had already been done before. Plus, my wife's Puerto Rican, so I wanted to put a little Spanish twist on there. So Senor Perfecto was born.
Okay, that's a cool nickname. And talking about the fight, do you think this will be the toughest challenge on your career?
Not really. I mean, I've fought guys that are in the top 15, two guys that are in, well, one that's definitely in the top 15 in the UFC and one that's going to be there soon. So, I've fought in pretty tough competition my entire career because I look for the toughest fight. So, this is just another fight. And stylistically, I really like my chances.
Okay, you took this fight on short notice, so what can you expect from you for this fight?
You can expect me to still be in shape from the last fight. I'm still sharp. I'm not skipping a beat since 2 weeks ago when I fought. So short notice isn't really a thing. I mean, I'm always training. I'm always fighting. This is what I do. I've taken fights on shorter notice, so this is not a big deal for me. This is, everything's looking good for me.
Fair play. And what's your prediction for the fight?
Either decision or knockout via Bill Algeo.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, amigo.
Gracias a ti.
And we'll take our next set of questions from Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you. Wondering during the pandemic and just going through this whole process, have you learned anything about training in this process? I know we all talk a lot about what fighters are doing, if they had to change things, smaller groups. But have you learned anything that maybe has helped you in training, just in general?
I mean, every day I train, I learn something. That's my goal. But for sure, I was able to focus on myself a little bit more because really I had off of work for 3-4 months. My gym was shut down. It was a mandatory shutdown in Pennsylvania. So I got to focus on just this part of my career. Another part of my career is teaching everybody every day and being a coach and helping others fulfill their dreams. But the nice part about that pandemic, if there is a flip side, was I was able to focus on myself for 3 to 4 months, which was a nice change.
At your gym, how was it just getting through all that and making sure that the gym was stable and keeping the do business? We've lost a lot of businesses during this, unfortunately.
We have lost a lot of business, and I think we're going to lose a couple more, unfortunately. But luckily, I have a good following and a good base and a good just group of instructors at my gym that's a ride or die. And once this kind of started to slowly come back to life, we've taken the right precautions, making sure we're doing everything as humanly possible to open safely. And luckily, my students are cool. They're reasonable. They understand, that I have more. My space is cleaner than any type of grocery store. While it's less foot traffic, it's less people. It's less likely to get it there than anywhere else. So people still need to work out. They still need to be healthy, and it's as they found out during quarantine, it's pretty difficult to do it by yourself consistently and stay motivated. So that's what I'm looking to do is just improve immune systems and just make people healthier left and right.
And following up on that too, have you taken anything from what UFC had been doing with just all the safety and the health measures and incorporated that with what you're doing up in Pennsylvania with your gym?
Well, it's been hard. I've only been with the UFC like 3-4 days, so it's been hard to adapt. Ever since I've been here. So it's been pretty difficult to transition. But no, I mean, these guys are crazy professional, and I feel like I was doing a pretty good job of having systems in place. But man, the UFC is just on another level with being safe, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, I'm sure even in 3 or 4 days, you could learn something from what they're doing and all the things they're doing. Lastly, for me, the nickname that was brought up, that's very interesting. Were you into pro wrestling at all? Did you know Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig and follow him when you were younger?
Yeah, I knew who he was, and I knew I had seen a couple of his videos and things he does, and I got the nickname of Mr. Perfect from, I was saying earlier, a YouTube video I made, and everyone just started calling me Mr. Perfect after that. But that had already been taken, so I wanted to put a little Spanish twist on there.
Well, it's interesting, real quick, because if you ever saw the Mr. Curt Hennig video that he did when he was Mr. Perfect, he was doing all sports and just doing everything well. Everything he did athletically was doing well.
And that was my video. I made like a 20-foot putt. I made a bullseye a couple times. I had a couple guests on there saying I was good at motocross and chess and anything we could think of that would have been funny. And it was a funny video. It worked out, and the name kind of stuck from there.
That's great. Hey, thank you for the time. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. That is all the time we had for you, sir.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Next up, we will be joined by the number 14 ranked UFC women's strawweight contender, Alexa Grasso. We're now joined by UFC strawweight Alexa Grasso. Alexa, thank you for the time today.
Hi, thank you.
We will take our first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Okay.
Hello, Alexa. How are you?
Hi, great, and you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Can we go back to January? Can you just talk about that fight week? We had spoken with you at Media Day. Just what happened between Thursday and Friday when you weighed in?
Well, I had an issue with the weight cut. I was doing my best to drop all those pounds left, but my body wasn't able to do that anymore.
Now, it's obviously been a few months, I think a lot longer than a lot of people expected. Just what have you been working on in terms of building yourself up to be a more natural flyweight as you change weight classes now?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know, but before I started my career in international, I was a flyweight. So we had like my team and me, we decided to drop myself to 115 because those were the most popular weight classes. But now that I'm very, very happy that the UFC added the flyweight, and I'm very excited too to show everyone all the job I've been doing. I feel stronger, I feel happier, and I feel so much healthier.
You talked about it. You started your career as flyweight. I know you work with people like Alejandro Lara, who's a flyweight also. Just, I guess, how are you feeling in terms of physically, in terms of your body and this training camp moving up and you don't have to cut as much weight?
I feel amazing. You know, I thought that I know that injuries are part of the training, but I was having like a lot of injuries, like a lot of injuries in this fight camp. I had no injuries at all, which I think is like, oh my God, why is this happening? But now I understand that as healthier as you are, it's going to be better, your performance, and of course, your body.
Talking about Yeon Kim, what does she bring that makes her a dangerous opponent?
Well, everybody knows her because I think her nickname is Firefist, so
Yeah, enough said. I get you. Final question. You're obviously in a new weight class. Everyone obviously wants to be the one to stop Valentina Shevchenko. If you get the victory, where do you think you fit in with the title picture at flyweight?
well, I don't know. You know, everybody rank every fighter and every fight different, so I just hope that my performance can put me on a good target and just to be climbing.
Thank you, Alexa.
Thank you.
We will take our next question from Carlos Contreras with Milenio Diario.
Alexa, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, muy bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, bien. Oye, rápidamente, nada más para no quitar mucho en español. Sé que fue un poquito largo el proceso de tu visa, que tuvieron que cambiar de fecha del 29 de agosto a ahora. ¿Te distrajo eso un poquito o pudiste hacer tu camp, digamos, pues, en orden para pensar en tu rival?
Pues obviamente, claro que te estresa un poco, ¿no? Porque yo ya tenía mi cita y de repente me la cancelaron y luego que hasta noviembre había citas y yo así como que no, tuve que viajar a la ciudad de Tijuana, pues en medio de la pandemia y todo, la verdad es que yo estaba mortificadísima, no quería ni siquiera salir de mi casa, menos viajar, ¿no? Pero pues sabía que era un riesgo que tenía que tomar, que tenía que salir y hacerlo porque pues quería pelear. Entonces viajé un día a Tijuana, hice lo de la visa, ese mismo día me regresé, pero siempre con la meta bien clara.
Es obviamente un tiempo diferente para todos en la forma de entrenar. Vienes con una esquina reducida, pero por lo que escuchaba que decías, mucho mejor físicamente, mucho mejor en la cuestión de tu corte de peso, ¿no?
Sí, la verdad es que me siento muy bien, la verdad. O sea, también me pone triste que no haya podido venir mi papá y mi otro coach, pero como te dije, la tarea se hizo, la meta está súper clara, trabajamos muy duro para este debut en 125, entonces ya quiero que vean, por favor, todo lo que hemos hecho.
Desde que decidiste subir a 125 en enero, han pasado muchas cosas, tal vez no con Valentina, pero sí con el resto de la edición se ha movido mucho, ¿no? Ganó Chukagan, perdió Antonina, obviamente, Jennifer Maya ascendió. ¿Cómo ves esta nueva división a la que llegas? Porque tú ya estabas peleando con las ex campeonas, con las ex contendientes en 115. ¿Cómo ves esta pelea para ti en cuestión de lo que puedes subir en el ranking tras una victoria, que es lo que buscas obviamente en tu debut?
Bueno, pues obviamente es un camino nuevo, ¿no? Es empezar, como quien dice, desde cero, pero estoy muy contenta, es una pelea muy buena. Ambas somos la número 14 en nuestras divisiones, entonces no importa en dónde me pongan el ranking, yo la verdad es que, como siempre les he demostrado, cada que yo me subo a ese octágono, soy mejor atleta, soy mejor peleadora, entonces, pues solamente mi trabajo va a hablar y UFC decidirá qué es lo que sigue para mí.
Muchas gracias, Alexa.
A ti, adiós, cuídate mucho.
And we will take our next questions from Rodrigo Del Campo with Indiscutido.
Alexa, bonita tarde, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, muy bien, ¿y tú? Es muy raro no verte.
Muy bien, muchas gracias. Oye, una pregunta. Yeon Kim, digo, fuera que está subiendo a esta división ahora dentro de UFC, una peleadora muy grande, 5 centímetros te lleva de estatura, creo que es de las que más alcance tiene en la división, con más de 1,80 m de alcance. ¿Cómo ir lidiando con eso, ¿no? Con la diferencia de altura y con la diferencia de alcance el sábado en la pelea?
Bueno, afortunadamente tuve compañeros muy similares un compañero muy similar a ella, entonces estuvimos ajustando todo el tiempo. también yo tengo mis habilidades, ¿no? Ella es un poquito más larga, pero yo soy mucho más rápida. Y pues nada, solamente lo que hicimos en entrenamiento, ¿no? Ajustarnos a sus medidas.
Recuerdo mucho, Alexa, cuando Rafael 2 años subió a 170 libras, él siempre decía, no es nada más el peso del rival en la jaula, el atleta que está subiendo, se tiene que acostumbrar también a cargar esas libras extras el día de la pelea, ¿no? Ha sido un tiempo que no has peleado en 125, fuera de Lozano, ¿cómo te has sentido en el entrenamiento con un poquito más de peso extra? ¿Qué has sentido que has podido trabajar de más?
Mira, honestamente yo también pensé que iba a ser mucho más difícil, porque pues obviamente iba a estar un poco más pesada, pero me siento muy bien, me siento súper fuerte, te lo juro, como nunca en mi vida me siento. Sigo teniendo la velocidad de strawweight, pero ahora con la pegada pues más pesada de fly. Y pues nada, trabajar mucho, mucho, mucho cardio. Afortunadamente no siento como que me pese más el cuerpo ni nada.
Oportunidad de esta división, pero te da la confianza del UFC de estar de nuevo en un main card, Alex, de estar bastante arriba en la cartelera. ¿Cómo se siente esto después de lo que pudo haber pasado el mes de enero? Que el UFC te tenga todavía la confianza de ponerte en un main card y en una posición alta en una cartelera.
UFC sabe perfectamente todo de mí, ellos tienen absolutamente todos mis datos, saben perfectamente que no fue falta de disciplina, mi cuerpo maduró, mi cuerpo es distinto, mi cuerpo se hizo mucho más fuerte, ya tengo 27 años, ya no soy la misma niña que empezó de 21 a pelear, entonces estoy muy contenta y muy agradecida por esa oportunidad porque ellos saben que me entrego todos los días y que amo lo que hago.
Muchísimas gracias y mucha suerte el sábado.
Gracias.
We will take our next set of questions from Danny Segura with MMA Junkie.
¿Me escuchas?
Sí.
Te quería preguntar, ya habías tenido problemas de peso en el pasado, entonces, ¿qué fue el factor o qué fue lo que pasó que te empujó a subir de categoría? O sea, ¿cómo fue esa decisión? Porque es un cambio bien grande, ¿no?
Sí fue un cambio grande, pero la verdad estoy muy contenta con la división. Bueno, con este cambio de división me siento increíblemente sana y fuerte y con la misma velocidad de una strawweight, pero con una pegada mucho más fuerte.
Sí, y obviamente entrenando para una pelea en una categoría ya más pesada, ¿le añadiste algo en tu entrenamiento en cuanto de pronto a alzar pesas o algo diferente para acoplarte a este nuevo peso o simplemente va todo igual, solamente que no estás cortando tanto peso?
No, obviamente hubo muchísimos cambios. Ya no tengo los límites de los pesos, porque antes era igual, era una limitante de que no podía levantar más peso porque no podía crecerme el músculo, pero pues tenía que ser un impulso más grande, tú sabes, ¿no? Cada pelea te vas haciendo mejor, cada pelea eres más rápida, más fuerte, entonces tienes que aumentar los estímulos, ¿no? Y era un freno muy, muy duro oye, sí, pero no levantes tanto, pero no tanto peso, pero entonces ahora no estoy limitada, puedo levantar más peso, puedo hacer más cosas, duro más tiempo entrenando y eso fue el cambio, realmente ya no hay límites, ¿no? Ya puedo levantar muchísimas pesas también.
Sí, me imagino que también un campamento más tranquilo, un poquito menos estrés, teniendo en cuenta que no tienes que enfocarte tanto en dar peso, sino simplemente enfocarte en la pelea, ¿no?
No, claro que también es peso, no es como que, ay, ya no voy a cortar, no voy a hacer dieta, no, para nada, obviamente también se tiene que hacer dieta, también es un sacrificio, también da hambre y sed, obviamente, pero es muy distinto, la verdad es que enfocarte en todo tu campamento, en mejorar, en ser más fuerte, en tu técnica, es totalmente mucho menos estresante que solamente pensar en entrenar en, tengo que dar peso, tengo que dar peso, tengo que dar peso, entonces estoy muy contenta con esto.
¿Qué tan grande es este cambio de categoría? ¿Piensas que empiezas un nuevo capítulo en tu carrera acá? ¿Piensas que los fans van a ver otra versión de Alexa Grasso ahora que estás en las 125 libras?
Sí, claro que sí, estoy muy contenta. Siempre los cambios son buenos. Como te dije, ya no tengo limitantes, así que pueden esperar una Alexa completamente nueva, mucho más feliz. Mi estado de ánimo cambió muchísimo también. Estoy muy, muy, muy sana y eso me da mucho gusto también.
Vale, muchísimas gracias, Alexa. Suerte el sábado.
Adiós.
And we will take our last set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey Alexa, you mentioned the last weight cut, for the Gedalia fight was pretty rough. Can you give me an idea, your career at strawweight? did you always have a problem with the weight cut? Was it always, because I know weight cutting is never easy, but was it always a tough weight cut for you?
Well, making strawweight was always a hard battle. But, since I was like 25, 26 years old, it was getting like harder. I think my body gets more mature. I got stronger. Every camp you have to be faster and harder. And it was very difficult to put myself on those trainings with the limitation about, okay, do it, but not much weight, but not that hard. But so it was very frustrating, to try to perform myself to the next level, but with those limitation about, but not too much weight because you can't grow too much. And well, now this division fits perfect for me.
You said in this camp you were so much healthier and not dealing with injuries and everything. Do you feel like, obviously you're not filled with regret, but do you kind of wish maybe you could move to flyweight a couple of fights earlier?
This is a hard question, I don't know, because I love it to be a strawweight. Honestly, I love it, that division, and that was a very important season of my life. But now it's different. I don't want it to look at the past. I'm just looking forward. This is a new way for me, and I love to be here.
Do you believe this is permanent? Do you believe you are going to be a flyweight from now on?
Can you repeat me that?
Yeah. Do you believe this is a permanent move? Do you believe you're going to be a flyweight from now on?
Yes, I think so.
And Alexa, on day one, when you came into the UFC from Invicta, you had a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure on you. You're this great prospect and all these kind of things. How hard was that, early in your career, and how much does it mean to you to live up to those expectations, to make that run at the title, to prove all those people who said, you're one of the best prospects we've seen, to make that run? Is that important to you?
Of course, that is important for me because they know me, everybody knows how hard worker I am and how much I love to do this. So of course it's a motivation also for me, of course pressure too, but I think the mainly reason is because they know that I can achieve it, and I also know that I can achieve it. It's been a tough way, but if it was easy, everybody could be doing this. So I'm here, and I'm very grateful with the UFC for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Alexa.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alexa. That is all the time we had for you.
Okay, thanks.
And next up, we will be joined by UFC welterweight Robbie Lawler. We are now joined by former UFC welterweight champion and number 13 ranked contender Robbie Lawler. Robbie, thank you for the time today, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll take the first question from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hey, Robbie, I think it's safe to say that it was a little unexpected to see you, be a part of this card. Can you just talk about how long you've been looking to get back in there to fight?
I've been looking to get back for a while, but it just couldn't get anything together, and then they kind of offered this one on like a few weeks' notice, and I'm like, all right, I guess we're going to fight. So it is what it is. Let's just go fight.
Can I ask, what was it that they couldn't seem to get you a fight? Was it just the right name, the right timing? Because obviously there's been a lot going on lately at welterweight.
Yeah, I mean, all of the above. I mean, me, them, whatever. Just never worked out. Doesn't really matter. Just fighting this week, which is nice. Haven't fought for a while, and it's nice to get back in there and get to work.
I think more so than in some of your more recent fights, they're very fond of playing a lot of those classic Robbie Lawler fights, those when he first got to the UFC and his original knockouts. I mean, Robbie, like, this is 2020. You're still out there fighting ranked guys at the top of the game. What's the secret, man? Not everybody is able to make it this far and still be at this level.
I don't know. I just enjoy what I do. Obviously, I take care of myself, and I have good coaches around me to help me prepare. Really good training partners, and I just love doing this, and I love competing, and just a great opportunity to go out there and have some fun.
What does it mean to you when you have guys like Dana or even like your opponent saying, you know, hey, when you know you're signing up to fight Robbie Lawler, you know you're signing up to fight that dude, that beast, that no quit, always going to be coming at you to do damage. What's it like to know you go out there carrying that reputation?
I'm not too worried about reputation. I mean, I just go out there and be me and try to beat people up. And I mean, that's for other people to feel a certain way, but I feel the same. I'm just going to work, having a good time, and fighting my ass off.
Final one for me. I mean, people wonder, it's like, hey, you know, like he's already had such a great career. Are you still looking to get out there and make that run for the title? Is it just about competing and getting in fights? What's motivating you at this stage?
Right now I'm just competing one step at a time. It's like you have to get past this fight, showcase your skills, and let people know who you are. And I'm excited. Training partners did a great job of getting me ready for this fight. Coaches put together a good game plan and had enough time to make sure I'm ready to go. So everyone at Sanford's done a great job with me, and I'm excited to get out there.
Thanks, Robbie.
We will take our next set of questions from Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you, Robbie. You mentioned Sanford, and I want to address Sanford MMA. What's that been like, that transition? Because there's so much, it's not just about the training. There's so much going on there with that partnership that's going on. What has it meant to you? What has it meant to other fighters and everybody there?
It's just awesome to have Sanford on board with us. A really good company. Been around them for many years, and for them to jump on board, it really solidifies us as a team, lets everyone know that we're out there. We have really good coaches, really good fighters, and now we have a really good company behind us, a healthcare company, and we're really excited to build this. They're going to help us build, and we're going to help them build, and just great for our coaches and our fighters to be a part of something great.
Hey, Robbie, what have you been doing during the pandemic, and how much training have you been able to get in? The last fight was August of last year, correct? So what's been going on from that time till this time, just sorting through the regular and then sorting through the pandemic?
Yeah, just trying to work on my skills, switching up diet type situations, making sure, just hanging out with the family. I mean, same old, obviously. People out there are acting a little crazy, but I'm okay with it, how everything's going on. I like being alone, I like social distancing. I'm forced to, though. That's the difference. I like to be in charge of that kind of stuff. But I mean, we have really good coaches, really good training partners. We've done a great job of staying in shape and making each other better. So it's nice being at Sanford MMA and having really good people around us.
You like social distancing except for fight night, when you want to get in there and just take care of the guy and get him out of there. That's
just go out there and drop some bombs.
All right, a couple more from me. I'll let you go. South Florida, you've been down here for a while. Various coaching and training in different places, and now it's Sanford MMA, which is great. What is it about South Florida that sort of made it sort of a hotbed of MMA?
I don't know. A couple big gyms, really good training partners, really good coaches, and obviously the nice weather. taxes aren't too bad there either. So, I mean, the weather and the beaches and who knows, but really good training partners, really good coaches, and that's about it.
And lastly, who did you bring with you for the fight?
I have Greg Jones, Henry Hooft, and Hoagie, Wayne Hoganson, We Care Chiropractic.
Get the plug in. All right, Robbie, all the best, man. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
We will take our next questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hello, Robbie. Can you hear me?
Yep.
First of all, it's an honor to greet you. I want to ask you if you were going to bring violence to the octagon this Saturday, because you're a fan favorite because of that reason, because whenever you are in the octagon, it's always blood and violence.
What was the question?
If you're going to bring violence to the octagon in this Saturday fight.
I always fight a certain way, and that's usually try to get right in the guy's face and create a fight and get into a fight. That's what this sport's about, I believe. I mean, guys are technical. Obviously, there's going to be technique involved, but push comes to shove, we're out there fighting and trying to inflict a little damage on each other.
Okay, so it's your first fight on this COVID situation. How was the fight camp and the fight week? And if you exceed something that you missed from the other fight weeks or camps?
I would say obviously it's a little different. I mean, obviously the world's acting a little crazy right now, but you just kind of focus on the things you can control, which is how you train, how you work out, the things you're eating. You don't focus on those other things, but everything's gone really well. UFC has done a great job of getting these fighters ways to get out there and make a little money during this time. It's nice to go out there and compete and do what I love.
And what's your prediction for the fight?
Just go out there and do what I do best. Go out there and push the pace and look to get a finish.
Okay, thank you very much, Robbie, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We will take our next questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting. Damon, your line is unmuted. All right, Robbie, I guess that's all the time we had for you, sir. Appreciate it.
Sweet. Thank you.
And last up, we will be joined by the number 5 ranked UFC light heavyweight Anthony Smith. We now welcome the number 5 ranked UFC light heavyweight contender in the world, Anthony Smith.
Got it.
Anthony, thank you for the time today, sir.
No worries. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm good, man. Living the dream.
We'll take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press.
Hey, Anthony.
How are you doing?
I'm good, man. What about you?
I'm living. That's all that matters, right?
Exactly. It really does, man. I mean, let's get right to it. It's about to be a very busy month at light heavyweight. Is there more pressure to go out there and really get one of those signature finishes so you could be in the conversation?
Yeah, there is, and fortunately for me, I tend to perform better when there's a lot of pressure on. Obviously, I would love to get that John fight back. So this is kind of a double-edged sword. It definitely opens up a lot of parity and fun conversations and different matchups, and brings a little bit more excitement to the division. But let's not forget that it's bringing more excitement to the division because there's a lot more unknown. John Jones kind of was the staple in the division, and people just assumed he was always going to win. So unfortunately, it gets more exciting when nobody knows really who's going to win.
For sure, I understand that. I want to shift gears. On top of fighting and working as an analyst, I know that you're kicking off your new podcast with Laura Sanko. Can you just talk about what it's like to have that platform and work on a program like that with a mind like her?
It's been amazing, man. We kind of got backed up a little bit just with her busy schedule and then me taking this fight. So we're gonna be firing that back up as soon as I'm done here. But it's been fun. I've known Laura for a long time. We kind of came up in the same scene together. A lot of the fans and stuff don't know, but Laura was quite the fighter herself in her fighting days. So we're both Midwest fighters. We grew up a couple hours from each other. And she's got an incredible mind for the sport. She's really, really good at what she does. She's a great reporter, but she's also a good host. She directs the conversation really well and keeps me on track. Sometimes I have a bad habit of rambling and bouncing from topic to topic, so she does a good job of keeping a leash on me and keeping me focused. And yeah, it's along with being an analyst and fighting, it's going to be kind of cool to kind of build my own baby, all by myself, and just her and I building something that's just ours. And it's fun. There's less direction. We can kind of take it where we want. If there's not a lot of fight stuff to talk about, we can ramble about mom and dad life and families and just funny stuff that I think that a lot of people want to get a perspective on that we don't typically get to give working as analysts or reporters. Like sometimes people are just curious what we do day to day. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to hearing even more coming soon. To get back to the division, Aleksandar Rakic, a tough guy. A lot of people feel like he should still be on his win streak. What does he bring that makes him so dangerous?
He's got a couple of things that make him pretty dangerous. I think for me, the thing that makes him most dangerous are his intangibles. He really believes in himself. He's confident. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He believes in his power. And he really believes that he's the future of the division. Now, whether that's true or not, we'll find out on Saturday. But the fact that he believes it makes him dangerous. You couple all that stuff with his incredible knockout power, his ability to close distance with his kicks. He can fight from both stances. He's an incredible athlete. He's well conditioned. He's not completely a fish out of the water on the ground. So he brings a lot of interesting stuff to the table.
Finally, talking about the title picture, I think a lot of people see it as the upcoming fight, Santos versus Glover. Probably that one gets the next top contender, the next shot at the title. For yourself, do you see yourself fighting another one of these guys before getting back to the belt if you win on Saturday?
It's a possibility. I would think it's going to take me no more than 2, Rakic and one more. But if Glover and Thiago get into a snooze fest, or the winner gets injured, or something like that, it really depends on who wins that fight. If Glover wins that fight, if I'm being very honest with you guys, I will sit down and shut up and wait my turn and go do what I got to do to get my title shot. You won't hear a lot from me arguing about getting a shot over Glover, not just because he just beat me, but just, he's done enough. He's done enough. So I'll keep my loud mouth shut. If it's Thiago, then there's a small argument there. I would have more wins than he had since his title fight. He would also argue that he won that fight. I have the more high-profile win that's also a finish, would be over Alexander Gustafsson. But I also had the hiccup with the Glover fight. But who knows? Who knows? If it's Thiago, there's a somewhat of an argument there. If it's Glover, I'll sit down and shut up.
Appreciate it, Anthony. Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll take our next set of questions from Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA.
Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good.
My first question is, this will be your second fight during the pandemic, but the first one in the Apex. What do you think about the smaller octagon? Is something that you take into account when you make your fight plan?
No, not at all. I know for a lot of guys the smaller cage does make a difference, and I can absolutely see how that's the case. But I've actually fought in smaller cages than the one that's in the Apex before. So I think a smaller cage benefits me anyways. I'm kind of the in-your-face, walk you down, get dirty type of fighter. So the shorter the distance I got to go, the better for me. He's the one that wants to stay long and fight from the outside and be rangy. And so if there is a benefit or a disadvantage in the smaller cage, I'm definitely the one that will benefit.
And Anthony, which aspects do you consider are going to be the key for winning?
Without getting too much into my game plan, it's just being technically sound and not losing my temper. That's sometimes what gets me into trouble a little bit. I get a little bit angry, and it's about the only aspect of my life that I do lose my temper. It's all anyone can do to even get me frustrated in regular day-to-day life. I'm just usually a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but for whatever reason, I have kind of a hair trigger when it comes to controlling my temper in the octagon. So I just got to stay technical and stay focused. I think with a guy like Aleksandar Rakic being so dangerous, it makes it a lot easier to stay focused the whole time because you can't make any mistakes with a guy like that. So that's really what it comes down to. Just being myself and being technical and just not making any mistakes and staying focused for 15 minutes.
And is there anything that you need to be careful of?
Yeah, I probably should let him knock me out. That's probably the biggest. That's probably the biggest thing. He's powerful, so I got to make sure I'm not taking too many clean shots.
Okay, and Anthony, I want to ask you, how was your preparation after your last fight, after that loss? How did you prepare for this one? Not only physically, but also mentally. What about that process?
Well, I was able to go back to Denver and do my entire training camp there, and get back to where I'm the most successful. I wasn't able to do that in the last fight because of the pandemic. So I'm back there and really mentally, it's spending all those weeks away from home and with Mark Montoya. It's the best thing for my mentality. That guy's just he's like my Yoda. He just has such a good perspective on life, and he can tell when I'm having an off day. He can tell when my mind is somewhere else. He can tell when something's bothering me, and then we just work through it. Mark is a mentor and a father figure to me. That's helped a lot, and just really sometimes you just got to work that out in your head. You got to figure it out on your own. So I'm mentally, emotionally, and physically in a better spot than I've been in a really long time. I'm well rested. I'm healthy. I'm really happy. Life is going well. My family's safe. My family's healthy. My kids are funny. My wife is doing her thing. Everybody's in a good place, and that's not something I can necessarily say going into the last fight.
Great to hear that. And talking about the division, were you surprised when you heard that Jon Jones was vacating the title?
Yeah, I was. Jon Jones is kind of one of those guys, when he gets something, you're going to have to peel it out of his cold, dead hands to get it back from him, which is the mentality that makes him so great. Once he's got something, it's his, and you're gonna have to take it from him. So that was a cool look into where Jon Jones is at personally, where he was willing to make the type of decision that that doesn't necessarily benefit him that much, and it does benefit a lot of other people. As you know, I'm not typically the guy that's got a whole bunch of nice things to say about John Jones, but that's a noble thing to do, and he could have held on to that title for a long time and gone up to heavyweight and done his thing, and talked about coming back down and not coming back down and drag everybody out for a long time. But he didn't do that. So that's it was a surprise to me, and I think that says a lot of positive things about where John Jones is right now in his life, and it was a cool thing.
And how do you think he will do at heavyweights?
Well, John Jones is the best in the world, man, and that's not just in my weight class. That's across all weight classes. I think there's some interesting challenges that are at heavyweight for him. Aside from the top 2 guys, 3 guys, maybe, I think John Jones does whatever he wants to any other heavyweight in the division. I think, your guys like Francis Ngannou, Curtis Blades, Stipe. I think those guys create some interesting problems for him. Just some of them in size, some of them in power and mobility. So some of them in just their body types, and some of them in their skills. And I think those 3 guys create some interesting problems for him. But I'm not, John Jones can beat any of those guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony, and good luck on Saturday.
You're welcome.
And we will take our next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Equity.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay too. Thanks for asking. The first thing I want to ask is, you're coming from a hard defeat from Glover Teixeira, and what you learned from that fight?
That's kind of an open-ended question. But I got to stay focused. I guess if that's the one thing I would take from that, I got to do a better job of staying focused and not making silly mistakes.
Okay, and what do you consider Rakic's main strengths?
His main strengths?
Yes.
I would say his size, and his mobility and power. He moves like a middleweight, but he's every bit of a light heavyweight as you can get, and he's extremely powerful. Those are the top 3 things that make him dangerous.
Okay, and with John leaving the category, where do you think a victory over Rakic puts you in?
It puts me in a good spot. It puts me in a position to get into a number 1 contender fight. If it's extremely impressive, and something, some crazy stuff happens in the other fight that's going on, I think it possibly puts me in title contention. But likely gets me another main event, in an opportunity to fight for a title.
And do you think your experience will play a role in getting the victory?
Yeah, absolutely. I got more knockouts than Aleksandar Rakic has fights total. So you're not going to show me anything that I haven't seen. He doesn't bring anything new to the table. He's not super flashy. He's not fancy. He's not super tricky. But that's not saying he's not dangerous. So on my end of it, I need to be smart and use my experience and know that I have made those mistakes before, and get caught up playing games. And you know what they say, you play dumb games, you get dumb prizes. So I just need to stay smart. But as far as experience goes, I think that that's absolutely an advantage.
Okay, I get it. And what's your prediction for the fight on Saturday and for the title fight again between Dom Reyes and Jan Blachowicz?
I've been kind of saying this all week. I'm kind of feeling like there's going to be an upset here. I feel like Jan Blachowicz is going to get it done. I like the way those 2 guys match up. I haven't broken them down, super deep yet, and really seen what that's going to look like. But just from the outside looking in, just really in a shallow way, I just like how they match up as far as Jan being. He's really tight and fundamental, and he likes to fight at boxing range. And Dominic Reyes does a really good job when he can keep people at kicking range. And other than the Weidman knockout, it does seem like Reyes doesn't do that well fighting back and up. So Blachowicz is absolutely going to make him back up. That's just his style. He's better on the ground, I think, and I think he's a better wrestler. As far as the prediction for my fight, was that the question?
Yes.
That also I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways it could go, but I would imagine that we're going to end up kind of playing that, that whose ego is bigger game, and I'm not going to get caught up into that. So I honestly don't know. I see myself winning a couple different ways. I just don't know which way it's going to be.
Fair play. Thank you very much, Anthony, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anthony. That is all the time we had for you, sir.
Is that all the guys?
That's all of them.
Oh, that's sweet. Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it, sir.
Take care, man.
And that concludes today's virtual media day. We would like to thank everyone for joining today's event and your supporting coverage. We will distribute video and audio downloads for today's event to your emails as soon as they are available. Have a great day, everyone.